Thank you all for allowing me to share some of my lessons learned in servant leadership. So I'm fourth generation. I am president at Century Fence, and so we're a construction business. And as I think about how do we adapt for the future, servant leadership, when I talk to people, they say, yeah, it's a way. I'm going to make the case that it's the only way. So with the lessons that I want to share with you today, I look forward to discussing it with you, because I know I have got a lot to learn, but here's three lessons that I've learned so far in my journey. So what I hope you can take away is 4,000 weeks, what do you stand for? And we're walking home. So when I talk about my journey, I have to start with where I was raised. I got to experience love firsthand, and not everyone gets to experience that. So I hit the lottery in my childhood. I grew up in Virginia, and I never had any thoughts of moving to Wisconsin. But little did I know that my grandfather and my grandmother, they live in Waukesha, right near Carroll University. And the seed was planted at a very young age. I would visit for Thanksgiving and Christmas growing up, and I would get the occasional tour at our Waukesha office back in the day for Century Fence at Silvernail Road, and the seeds were planted. But I was so determined that I was going to go be a big shot, and that I wanted to go make money. Money, 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 money. So this is a picture of my first day at SunTrust Robinson Humphrey in their investment banking division for selling family businesses. And while I was selling family businesses for over a year, I got to be on these conference calls, and all they ever talked about was the ROI. There was never any conversation of the people within those businesses. And so for me, I started asking, there's got to be a little bit more to this thing called business. There's got to be a little bit more to this game of capitalism. So that's when I gave my grandfather a call, and was my first true interest in family business. And he said, you got to go get married, and then you can come up. So I got married to my high school sweetheart, Chelsea, and we jumped in the U-Haul, and we planted ourselves right next to Lakefront Brewery. So we lived downtown, and we were so convinced that we were never going to leave Milwaukee. We weren't going to do that suburb thing. It changed pretty quickly. But when I joined the company, when I walked in the front doors, we were on typewriters and dot matrix printers, and I was like, holy smokes, what did I get myself into? The first thing I wanted to do was take action to change things. But I had some really amazing mentors, and Mr. Pieper is one of those mentors, to seek to understand before seeking to be understood. So my first 7 years in the business was seeking to understand, not to shake it all up in one fell swoop. And during this 7 years in the second chair, I was in listening mode. I was learning from my grandparents, going on, and I still do, go on road trips with my grandparents to our various locations, meeting our people, and truly understanding where people are in their journeys, listening. And throughout my time here in Wisconsin, I always make it home. And when I make it home, I go see my family. And in this picture is my mom and my best friend from high school. But something really sudden that changed my life in 2017. I lost my mom suddenly. She was 56, and she died from heart failure. And it was a shock to me. I thought that I had my mom with me for the next 40, 50 years to be alongside me as I'm a parent, and as I seek to be a good steward at Century Fence. And so I wrote a parting note to my mom. I said, I didn't get to say goodbye. I love you and hope to make you proud. And when I wrote that, I didn't know what I meant by that, but I was going to try to find out and reflect on how I could make her proud. And the first thing that my mom's passing required me to do was reflect on my life. We get 4,000 weeks. 4,000 weeks. This right here, these are 4,000 dots. You get 4,000 weeks. That's the average lifespan of an American, 78 years, 4,000 weeks. So when I think about my life, I'm already really far down the screen. And the best way to fill these dots is in connection and in service to others. Viktor Frankl said, the door to happiness opens out. It's in service to others. And so for me, as I'm seeking to fill the rest of these dots, it's in service to others. We get 4,000 weeks. And so I got a degree in leadership studies, but I will say my true degree in leadership studies is in parenting. So this picture was 5 weeks ago at Freighter, and parenting really makes you think about what you stand for. And I think there's one important question in leadership. It's the real question. What do you stand for? Think about the worst boss you've ever had. Just think about it. Don't say anything. What did they stand for? Just give it 5 seconds. What did they stand for? I'm pretty sure I can tell you what they stood for. They stood for themselves. So we watch Lion King at my house probably every day. And we boo every time the bad boss gets on. What did he stand for? He stood for himself. Now think about the best coach, the best teacher, the best boss, the best leader you've ever had. What did they stand for? They stood for others. C.S. Lewis says, don't think less of yourself, but think of yourself less. Think of others. What do you stand for? So I became president in January of 2022, and I guess that maybe as a younger person you think for leadership, you close fist, you gotta go, gotta move, gotta go. I think the way to lead is to unclench the fist and to open the hand and to serve. And when we come to that appreciation of opening the hand, we are allowing the opportunity to walk each other home. So being in a family business, it's an opportunity to honor legacy, honor past, to stand on the shoulders of those that have come before me, but also to think about the future and plan for generations to come. So it's this balance of walking each other home. I have the honor to walk with my grandfather and to walk with the future generations at Century Fence. And one of the ways we're doing that is we know what we stand for. And a part of servant leadership is weeding the garden. And if someone doesn't fit your values, this isn't the place for you. And so what we are doing at Century Fence is standing, knowing what we stand for, and not being fraudulent. So for us, these are our values at our company, and we have done a lot of great conversation within our leadership team at Century Fence, and we tell stories around these values. So humble, no ego. Hungry, onward, ever forward. Together, we're walking each other home. And one of the ways that we build trust is through common work. We don't bring in fancy consultants to work on trust. We go do things together to build common trust. And my favorite quote is, "We're all just walking each other home," by Ram Dass. For me, it grounds me and really appreciates me, the journey that I'm on at Century Fence. And so, to summarize my takeaways, 4,000 weeks, what do you stand for? We're walking each other home. Thank you. And this is the book that Mr. Pieper was talking about, and I write a weekly meditation, if there's any interest in that. So, thank you.